Okay, hello tubers. Welcome to another show on SNAFU Radio. Got a couple people here already. Gal Gotha, Henry Giles in East Texas. How you doing, my man? Love East Texas. It's great out there. Like to go camping out there on Lake of the Pines, as a matter of fact. So, we got a good little show coming up for you again. Gonna talk to our favorite guest. I just want to touch on some interesting information. Hey, the Groove. Yeah, how you, buddy? Man, I got thanks for some of those tips that you sent me. In fact, I'm going to talk about that. John, how you doing? Christine Sargent, what's happening? So, if y'all got some pretty good tips, go ahead and send them, and I'll try to get them out there. So, because a lot of people don't know all this. Jerry Jean, what's happening? Shit is going down, John. You got that. That's an affirm right there, my man. So there was some pretty good information that had came out today. Marcia reflects. How are you? Hadn't seen you before. And Brian Tucker, yeah, you're always hanging in there. So anyhow, I saw a report today where this a buddy of mine from Colorado sent this to me. The Supreme Court has ruled 13 times that Obama exceeded his constitutional authority. Well, you don't say. Hey, S&N, how you doing? Kathy Helms, Brenda K. All right. Deborah Robert Shaw, texted 73. I'll probably butcher that. Sorry, my man. So anyhow, um, we'll touch on a little bit of real news real quick. And another FBI Director Christopher Wray refused to answer Congressman Ron DeSantis in a House Judiciary Committee so he didn't perjure himself in the Russiagate investigation and wiretapping. Canada, holy smoke, man, that's good to see you. Levon Ambrit, man, I'm horrible with names, y'all. Kathy Helms, how y'all doing? So, man, Canada, that's great. Glad you could tune in. Never been to Toronto. I'd like to check that place out for sure. So, another thing about all these fires out in California, it has been estimated up to 200,000 acres has burned. So they're calling it the California charred state right now. The Golden State is no more. So California is completely burning up. Now, the Groove sent me a couple of little pieces of information how the Trump accused for sexual misconduct by Brave New Films, a George Soros sponsored company. Kate Lau, good to see you. So anyhow, he sent me that, and I said George Soros needs to go somewhere. He just needs to go. Paul Gonzalez, what's happening, my man? So Christine Sargent, AZ Winos, Arizona. How's Arizona? And Vince Marr, Chi-Town. Where the hell is Chi-Town, man? You gotta give me a state, brother. So, but anyhow, when he sent me that, then he told me that Q just sent a new message today, look like, that we have a special place for GS, George Soros. Yeah, he needs to croak. I think they ought to shoot his ass, put his ass in a damn rocket, and shoot him off into the sea. Azos winos, like in wine. Okay, well, shoot. I'm doing all I can to pronounce it correct. Joe Smith in St. Louis, man, good to see you here. Chicago, Illinois, Vince Marr, right on. So, anyhow, shoot George Soros in a rocket. Hell, just shoot him in the ass. Make him bleed out through the ass. That's what I think. So, anyhow, let's go ahead and, well, that's pretty much all the kind of the touching news that I wanted to go on right now. Uh, Shepherd Keeper 6 in Pennsylvania. Wow, man, there's all these states are chiming on in. Noble Grand. All right. And Jack Allen. Shoot him in the ass. That's what I said, Jack. We need to shoot that chump in it. That old goofy bastard. Circle the wagons. Man, glad to see you here. So anyhow, we had a pretty good talk. I had a pretty good talk with Cody this morning, and he was really wanting to go off into some stuff, and I brought up John McCain and Hillary Clinton wearing those moon boots, asking if he's seen anything from that. Ireland, Carolyn Craig from Ireland, Kathy Meadows, Greenville, South Carolina, but Ireland, hey man, glad you could be here. I love y'all's accent, man. Ireland is cool. So anyhow, in San Antonio for Paul Gonzalez, right on, Paul. So anyhow, when I was telling Cody about the moon boots, they're a walking cast, but I call them a moon boot because one time I broke my leg, and I had to wear one of them damn moon boots around for a little bit, so that was my nickname for him. But anyhow, he didn't hear of the story, but once I told him how McCain switched his boot over to the other leg, yeah, Songbird McCain, I know. And, you know, I kind of touched on that with Cody, and Cody has he has a soft spot for people that were veterans, and he even has a little bit of a soft spot for McCain, only because he was in the military. But, you know, we all kind of know he was a songbird and all that stuff. And England, UK, Grove Dodger, man, glad you could make it. Y'all are staying up late. Shit, what is it, like 11 o'clock or something your time? Y'all are 6 hours ahead of us. Well, Texas time, that is. So, and TW hitting 828. All right. Glad you can make it. A new sub. Shit, yeah, man. So, what was that? Let's see. Watched a podcast with a phone, 5-mile long train of UN tanks going through Arizona. Well, shit. Ain't the first time we heard of that one. Alex Daly, what's up, my man? So, 1:04 a.m. in London, and the Grove Dodger is up burning the midnight oil. Man, glad you can make it there, Grove. I know you're staying up late, so let me quit babbling so much. Elizabeth, what's happening, girl? So, anyhow, let me quit babbling and get on with kicking off this interview. So, let's kick the tires and light the fires, y'all. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another show on SNAFU Radio, where if you like the content of these videos, give it a thumbs up, and you can spread these videos around. Just go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can stay informed way ahead of the curve of everybody else. Also have a website, snafuradio.com. All the videos are getting uploaded onto that website as well. If you want to mirror the videos, by all means, you have my permission. Just give a little credit to SNAFU Radio so more people can come here and get ahead of the curve. Now we have our returning special guest, CodySnodgres. So let's go ahead and bring him on in. Cody, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Scott. We got a big fire going and hot coffee. We want to say hi to everybody out there. Hi to you, Scott. It's a wonderful opportunity. Thank everybody. We've been getting a lot of emails, different people off your show, and we're doing our best to keep up with everything. So let's get rolling, buddy. I love you, man.
Hey, I love you too, brother. Now, I don't know if you're aware, this had been going around for a little bit about John McCain and Hillary Clinton and several other people in Congress or high up level in the government have been wearing these, what I call them a moon boot. They're really a walking cast. But what was really funny is McCain supposedly, I think it was on his right leg, he was telling everybody the reason he was wearing this walking cast or moon boot is because he had an Achilles heel tear. But then it was noticed that boot to his other leg, and people caught that. Yeah, so he actually switched the boot to his other leg and thinking nobody was going to take a picture and put that shit all over the internet. It went crazy. So what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, if they're hiding, if they've already been indicted, and we know there's a bunch of secret indictments. If him and Hillary got an ankle bracelet, and those ankle bracelets they use in the BOP or the Marshal Service, those are radio bracelets, and they go bad, or you can knock them off sometimes, or hit them on things when you're walking, and they'll quit working. So then they have to take them off and put another one on. That's probably what happened. Is they had to change the ankle bracelet to the other leg, so he just moved the boot over there. And that this stuff it's just classic what it is. I mean, John McCain is you got to give the guy credit, okay? There's a lot of people don't like him. Some people love him in Arizona. He's been there a long time. But John McCain he was on that A4 that got shot down over North Vietnam, and he spent 5 years in the Hanoi Hilton. So I don't care about the guy's politics, and I don't care much about what people think about him, but the man he was a POW, and he suffered horribly over there. I mean, those Viet Cong and the NBA probably weren't very nice to him, you know what I mean? And so, whatever he did, I give him kudos for that, because he did serve our country, and we support all veterans, whoever they are. And so, besides that, though, McCain's been in a lot of dirty stuff. He's been in that, he was the chair of the Armed Services Committee for a while, and there's a lot of crazy. I have one story of a guy that I knew. This guy was a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force, and I can't say his name now, okay, but he's a good friend of mine. And when he got out of the Air Force, he was approached by CIA to work, and it was down in the Central and South America region. And so he came up here to my house, and he said, "Cody, I need some advice. I know you were down there and stuff, and I've been offered this job." And the front was being at Northrop Grumman Satellite, Northrop Grumman Company. And that was going to be his front, but he was really working covertly. And he said, "What do you think about me doing this?" And I said, "Don't take it." I said, the CIA stuff is not the military. I mean, in the military, you got some honor and some stuff, but a lot of the stuff in the CIA, there's a lot of back turning and double agents and crisscrossing, and it's just not the same as the military. I mean, there's a lot of good people in the CIA, but there's also a lot of pressure, and the line between patriotism and treason is ill-defined in intelligence operations. It's a lot better defined when you're in the military, where everything's cut and dry. A lot of times you know who your enemy is, but out in the black ops world, you don't know what's going on half the time. So I told him not to do it and just take his Air Force retirement and quit. But anyway, he went and took the job. He said it's 6 figures, so he's doing good. And he started working with those FARC rebels down in Colombia. And for your listeners out there, that's the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, and that was started back in '64. And right now in the world, that's the biggest civil war's been going on for the longest time between the government of Colombia and the FARC rebels. But anyway, to make a long story short, with McCain, my buddy was in charge of trying to get back some of our pilots. What happened, Scott, you know this in the Air Force, a lot of our pilots get out of the Air Force, they have the training, and then, they need to make a little money, and so these companies were hiring them, kind of like the Air America pilots over in Vietnam. They hire them to do these black flights or covert flights, and some of them were getting shot down over there in Colombia, and the FARC rebels would capture them. And their standard deal to make money, they make money off arms and drug trade, the cocaine trade, but they also make money when they ransom people. So they have a kidnapping division that takes tourists and oil pipeline executives and so forth, and then these pilots, and they try to ransom them and get some money. And, anyway, so his job was to, try to rescue some of these pilots, and, they needed some extra money, for some operations down there. And so my buddy, he went up to John McCain's office up in D.C. there, and he was going to try to get some slush fund money, the Black Ops Pentagon slush fund money, like Donald Rumsfeld said there was trillions missing, out around 9/11,
The day before 9/11.
Well, yeah, that's a whole other thing there, but yeah, anyway, to make a long story short, he was going to try to pick up, a few $1 million out of the slush fund and, get a rescue mission mounted down there. And, it had to be all covert because the pilots were covert, before they got shot down, and the rescue mission had to be covert, and they've got people and relatives back here in the States, and they wanted to get some closure. At least if they couldn't rescue them from there, then they'd find out if they were dead or alive, And so anyway, he went up to McCain's office and was talking about that. And before he left, there was an admiral that had got out of the Navy, and then he was working with Northrop Grumman too. And so my buddy had to clear it with his higher ups. And he said, "Look, I'm going to go to D.C. and try to get some slush money." And the guy said, "Okay." So he got to go ahead. So he went to McCain's office, and then they talked, and McCain kind of got mad at him and said, "Look, I'm in the middle of a presidential campaign against Obama, and I can't afford, if any of this sours or goes sideways, like that Reagan thing down with the Contras, I can't afford any blowback. I'm in the middle of an election. I mean, the press will have my ass if anything sours up, so I just don't want to get involved." And my buddy, he started bitching at him. He said, "Well, you know what it's like. You were in the Hanoi Hilton. You know what it's like to be tortured. And we got our own Air Force guys down there right now. We don't give a shit if they're civilians or not. They're American. They're our guys. We got to get them out of there. They're going to kill them down there eventually. If they figure out we're not going to pay the ransom money, they'll just kill them." And so McCain wouldn't budge, so my buddy was mad as hell. And he left D.C. and he came back to the Springs and then drove out here to my house, straight from McCain's office. And he came and he was mad as hell, and he goes, "Cody, I want to get a sniper rifle because I used to be the biggest Class 3 machine gun dealer here in the state. And we had 50 cal sniper rifles, silencers, all that stuff." He said, "I'm going to go kill that son of a bitch." And I said, "What?" I said, "You're talking about shooting a presidential candidate over some deal down in Colombia?" And he said, "That son of a bitch is a son of a..." And I said, "Buddy, you need to calm down and relax and think about what you're doing here. No, I'm not going to give you a sniper rifle. No, we don't want to shoot anyone. We're all Americans. Don't you get tired of Americans killing Americans in some shitty third world country? Because in CIA ops and black ops, that stuff happens all the time. You just never hear about it." And so I calmed him down and everything. And I said, "You're going to have to find another way." But what made him so mad, Scott, was when he left McCain's office, he called that admiral who gave him the clearance back at Northrop Grumman. And he told him, "Hey, McCain soured up on the deal. We got to get money from somewhere else." And then the admiral turned on him and said, "What deal?" So the admiral back turned. And that's what made my buddy so mad was, now he was going to be hung out to dry. Now his higher up said, "No, we never gave you permission. You did that on your own." So he goes, "How do I get out of this?" And I said, "You can't. This is not like quitting a job at Walmart. This is black ops, bro." I said, "You'll be lucky if they don't find a couple of keys of pure flake, cocaine on your boat. Or you and your wife are in the mall one day and then you walk out, there's a bunch of stuff in the trunk of your car and 15 DEA agents with an indictment." I said, "They'll plant you with evidence like they did me and God knows who else." And so I told him how to get out of the mess, and everything. But the point is that there's all this stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And McCain, you can like the guy or hate the guy. He served our country, and he's in a bunch of shit up to his neck all the time and being on the Armed Services Committee, because what people, the civilians, Scott, they see the musical shit on Fox and CNN and all this stuff. but they don't know what's going on underneath. And if they did know what's really going on underneath, they might cut some of these guys a little bit of slack, is what I'm saying.
Right. Well,
because they got a hard job, and there's lots of money, and there's lots of shit that the press never finds out.
Well, and if they do, they certainly wouldn't report it accurately.
Oh, no. But what they do is if they get a juicy story, this little tidbit I just threw out, I mean, I know all the names, I know everything, I'm just not going to say them. I have respect for our people. I don't want to violate, that IIPA, that Intelligence Identities Protection Act. I don't want to do anything illegal, and I certainly don't want to cause any harm to our people. Because a lot of our ex-veterans, they serve our country, and that's why the CIA and the Black Ops community recruits them, is because they have that training, that high-level training. And they need that in the intelligence world. So we have to protect our intelligence people. I got really pissed off when Valerie Plain Wilson, you remember that stuff?
Oh, yeah.
And her ambassador, Joe, her husband, Joe, with that yellow cake uranium over there. That's a whole other story. I know all kinds of stuff about that, which we could do another talk on. It will take too long to go through all of it, but there's so much stuff like that and if you compromise our field agents out in the field, and other countries find out who they are, they'll kill them or torture them to death. And we can't have that, because our guys are they're providing valuable work. Some of them are assholes, sure, but a lot of them are really good people facing very, very hard things. And they don't, none of it ever is out in the public,
Well, and it was like yesterday when I was doing that report about the FBI director, Andrew McCain, that came out and said that he was told to lie about Benghazi. And there were some people saying, oh, well, he's evil, he's bad, he's all this, he's all that. And I was like, you know what? Anybody that wants to come out and shed any kind of credible, actionable intelligence, we need to give those guys a platform to do so, to encourage other people to come out. Let's not be beating them down. Yeah, were they dirty? Did they do some bad shit? Of course. But now that they want to turn over and start giving out evidence, down all the Clintons and the Bushes and the Obamas and the satanic cabal running this whole country with the bankers and all that shit, let's encourage them to do that.
That's exactly right. And that's what this whole thing's about, is it's not just me and you. It's not any of it. It's all of us together. See, it's all of us working together to do just what you're saying. As your following grows and more people hook onto your thing at SNAFU Radio, that's what we ask them to do. Is they might have a brother that's in the military. I got a friend here. He's a mechanic for my cars and stuff. He's a really good guy. And his brother, flies Blackhawks. He'll give us a little tidbit, and of course he asked not to use his name, but civilians are usually the last ones to know stuff. And it helps to have a few buddies here and there, that give you little tidbits. We don't want to get anybody in trouble, but it's nice to have some reliable information to help us figure out what in the hell is going on.
And, everybody is so hungry for the truth right now. Even if it's just a shred of truth, people are just latching on to it with all hands, just because they've been lied to so much. So let's give these guys the ability to come forward and shed whatever light that they can.
Yeah, it's there's a wave of light. This is a spiritual battle, and we are the forces of light. Okay? My job is to come forward and stand there, face whatever they're going to throw at me, prison, death. I've seen all of it before. I've been dead before, clinically dead, and I've been in supermax solitary confinement, the worst place they got. What are they going to do to me? Scare me? I'm done with that. I'm ready to die right now, right here, in this chair, and I will die with a full heart, real strong in you and you know you're doing right, the fear of death starts fading away. You know, it starts fading away because it's replaced with that power, that subtle, quiet, spiritual power that you know in your heart, no matter what anybody says, that you're doing right. And that's a good feeling. But it costs a lot, and it can damn sure get you killed. But that's what we've got to rekindle in America. This, Scott, is about rekindling the spirit of the United States of America. This is about rejuvenating the soul of our nation. And each of these whistleblowers that stands up, and each of these people that goes ahead and speaks the truth and brings tidbits of information out, none of us know it all. You know, I have my little piece, you've got your piece. Some of the veterans that were over in Vietnam or Afghanistan, you know, they've got their little piece, and some of them sign their national security oaths and stuff and non-disclosure agreements. We understand that. But there's got to be a way that we can all get more of this truth out and stand together, because our country needs it. We've lived in decades of corruption. They murdered our president, John Kennedy. I was in Dallas. I believe that was a hit. I believe the CIA was involved in that. I believe that was a coup. They killed his brother, Robert, laid it off on Sirhan, and they murdered Martin Luther King, who was laid off on James Earl Ray. Then we have all of these false flag events, Oklahoma City, 9/11, the Sandy Hook, did the fires out there in California. When is this going to end? When are we going to stand up as Americans and say, no more of this? You're not going to run these games on us and trick us and lie to us and deceive us. We are Americans. This is our country. And you have shit on it, and you have betrayed it, and you have trashed it, and we are not going to stand for it anymore. We love our country. We love our mothers, and we're not going to let you rape our mother. I mean, if someone was raping a woman or a mother out here in front of my door, I would do unspeakable things to them. I would rather die, Scott, than carry the memory of watching a woman or my mother being raped and then knowing I was a fucking coward. Right. And didn't do anything about it. I would rather die than do that, and I mean it. And so that's what we've all got to get to right now. It's just to stand up and confront this and rejuvenate the spirit, first in ourselves, of independence and freedom and being a good person. You shake hands with someone, you don't need an attorney. We don't need all this crap. If I give my word to you, Scott, and I say I'll pay you $10 on Sunday, then I pay you $10 on Sunday, and I keep my deal. And if I can't, I call you straight to your face and say, Scott, something happened, and let me make this deal right. We don't need attorneys and contacts and all this horse shit. What we need is spiritual strength and power to do right. And that's how each of us acting together can build this country back up. Well, I don't mean to preach, but you know, that stuff with McCain and my buddies and all, those stories like that go on every day, and nobody ever hears about them.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, it's kind of like I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan. I love the guy. And in that one movie, oh shit, I had a brain fart. But he was going in front of the Apaches, and he was telling them, you know, we're going to live here, and we're going to have to live together. And they were doing where they slit their wrist and blood brother thing, and that head Apache goes, "There's iron in your words." You know, you don't need a contract.
That's the outlaw Josie Wales, and that would keep 10 bears, because that's the same one of my. Yeah, he goes, there's no signed word that can hold the iron. It must come from men. And Bill and Hillary Clinton they're not men. They're weak. They're politicians and they're lawyers. They are disgusting. My dad was at Pearl Harbor and Guadalcanal and all that. He Clintons on TV, and he'd reach up, turn it off, and start fidgeting around. And he said, that's a disgrace to our country to have people like that with all them sex scandals and all that stuff being my president. He goes, that's not what I fought for. And he said, I watched a lot of good men in the foxholes at Guadalcanal, and those people die. Those are the men that made our country, not little whining, sneaking, lying, behind the back shitballs like the Clintons or Obama. I had a girl in this house yesterday, Scott, and she had shaken Obama's hand at a fundraiser, and I said, well, what was it like? And she said, well, when I shook his hand was the softest hand I've ever felt on a man in my whole life. It felt like shaking a woman's hand. She said there was no roughness. You could tell that guy has never done a day's work in his life. And I said, what did it feel like? What was the vibration around him? She said, it was absolutely ickish. I could barely even put my hand out to touch him. And then when I touched him, I wanted to jerk it back. She said he felt like a con man and a shyster, and all I wanted to do was get away from him. But she had her little daughter holding the other arm, and he went to kind of touch the girl, and she turned away, so he couldn't do it. And so, Scott, I know a lot of really high-level people, like, my girlfriend here that had dinner with Pablo Escobar and stuff. We operated at a real high level, but these people that are at the top, they're slime balls. It's like a cesspool. American government's turned into a cesspool. The pieces of shit, float to the top, like the Clintons and the Obamas. And then the real men, the good men, that'll stand up and fight for our country and everything, no one hears them. They're suffering in the VA hospitals. They're having trouble. They have PTSD, they have old injuries, and they're suffering, and nobody ever sees them. And yet they give all the TV time to these whining, sneaking, limp-dick politicians who couldn't, if you put them asshole to asshole, make a beer fart in a whirlwind.
Well, I agree, and
I'm sorry, bro. I see. We work with veterans. I see so many of them suffering, Agent Orange, and the bad dreams, and broken marriages, and then all you see on TV is all this doctored up crap. It just makes me sick, bro.
Well, and these slimy ass politicians are getting exactly what they deserve as the shit starts coming down around their ears, as they've lied, cheated, manipulated everybody for so long. Now we're all cutting through all that shit, and people are coming together. I mean, that video I did last night had probably like 150 people on the live stream. A lot of people were talking positive shit. There was a couple people that started acting like real assholes, and I chewed their ass out and made them feel like an asshole. And then people kind of started apologizing. I was like, well, that's cool, At least, start putting some of your differences aside and start, helping to bring other people out. I mean, hell, that video has over 2,000 views this morning. So, and people are writing me saying, man, don't give up, because the word is getting out, and people are starting to latch onto it, because people just don't get the truth anymore, and they're hungry.
No.
They're hungry.
No, and that's what we're going to do. I try to speak the truth. I mean, I'm done with all that Black Ops crap. I retired back in it was March of 95, 1 month before the Murrah building actually went up. I didn't know it was going to go up then. I'd been offered the job and turned it down, and I just made my mind up right then that I wasn't going to do any more of this, and I wasn't going to turn on my country. And I don't care what they do to me, and I don't care what they say. They're wrong. They're wrong to do these things. I could understand going overseas and attacking some of our enemies, but doing it to our own people, these monsters need to be, I should have just shot him right there, but he was just making a job offer, heroin, and you can't blame him. That was his job in Black Ops. We get a lot of dirty jobs, and some of them are particularly nasty, and And so we have free will choice as an independent contractor to turn them down. So, and that's one reason I want it to be that way, because if you are actually a CIA agent and you turn something down like that, or you don't want to be in it, you can get all kinds of retribution. You know, they can hold your pension, and they can hold a lot of things over you, and then in the bottom line, they can just set you up on another mission. See? Because you wouldn't take the one before, and then they'll say, oh, that's okay. And then they'll send you to South Africa or something, set you up on a two-way crisscross with the KGB. And that's another. I have a guy that was a major in the Army that took recruitment for the CIA, just like my other buddy here with McCain. And we told him not to do it. They came to me, too, and said, Cody, what about advice? And I said, no, don't do it. They're going to backturn you. They're going to betray you. And they set him up in Africa and on the death of 2 KGB agents there to take the fall. And so there's story after story like this, but it's time to quit all that, quit the sneaking and the black ops and the lying. It's just time to come forward now and get the truth and work together, put our differences aside, and work together as Americans. We can't change this stuff, Scott, if we're all fighting and we're all bitching and we're all arguing about stupid shit that doesn't matter. We got a big fish to fry here. All the listeners out there, we have a big fish to fry. I can't do it alone. I'm too weak to even start it. But we can join together, and through that togetherness and that union, we can have the power. That's what George Washington and them did. The Continental Armies, there was a lot of guys that didn't want to fight. They had wives, they had kids, they had to take care of their farms. They understood that. But there's a lot of other men that stood up and said, look, this king of England, this guy's bad news. They got a big army and a big navy. There's no way we can stand up against them if we don't stick together. Sure, they had differences. Sure, they had all different ideas. But they put all that stuff aside as petty bullshit to join together to fight the big enemy. And that's what we're doing. We're fighting the big enemy of darkness. We are spiritual warriors of light. And we are joining together. Just like how I met you and all the people out there listening. You guys work with us. Nobody is better than anyone else. We are all together. We are all soldiers for the truth. We are all warriors for the light. And let's start acting like it. Hold our heads up, forget all this petty bullshit, and let's kick these fuckers' asses.
Amen, brother. And, I have people that are even emailing me or they're going on the chat or whatever saying that they're being blocked from getting these videos out to their friends. And I'm just telling them, you're just going to have to work a little harder, man. You'll just have to call them up or email them directly or just he'll call somebody shit. Verbally tell them to go check it out. All they have to do is tell 2 people. Those people tell 2 people. And, it's just the power of multiplication. Shit, I couldn't get it out. So
yeah.
They just have, everybody has to work a little bit harder, and that's all.
Right. See, Scott, I talk to guys like you all around the world. There's all these little radio stations and different places. We've got interviews stacked up all clean into January, and everyone's doing the same thing. We're all getting hit. The Skype connection gets fuzzy, like that first video you did with me, and you start talking and it just fades out, and they hit it with AI, and then we've got people that are emailing. One guy today named Mark, he sent me an email. He said, I was gonna send you an email. I just wanted you to know when I hit the send button, a porno site came back on my computer. And so they've hacked the shit out of my computer. That's one of their favorite things, to plant kiddie porn and shit on your computers. Because don't you guys out there think for a minute the CIA and the NSA doesn't have malware things they can send into your computer to infect your hard drive, and they can plant all kinds of shit on you. And then they turn around, the FBI gets a tip, and then there's an indictment. That happened to those 2 Texas Ranger brothers down at the Waco thing. Remember I told you when the compound burned down and they had the 2 4x8 steel doors laying in the ashes?
Yeah.
They subpoenaed them at the trial, and the ATF said the two 4x8 steel doors disappeared out of the evidence room. 4x8 steel doors. I'm sure the mice ate them, right, Scott?
Yeah, you know it.
And then after that, when they said, well, the next best thing is the eyewitnesses, and the two Texas Ranger brothers are fixing to go to court, well, then all of a sudden, magically, kitty porn appeared on their laptop. So they got indicted, see, and now they had a rule saying you can't have a guy testify while he's under indictment. Later on, of course, they exonerated him, and they won a civil lawsuit for being planted with evidence and everything. But the key was that their testimony was barred during the Waco trial. They could have turned that whole case around. And this is how the shadow government works. And so we're going to expose all of it the best way we can, and we all take hits. You know, your computers be messed up, you're going to be blocked on your YouTube, they're going to pull all their little horse shit. And like you said, Scott, we've got to be smarter, we got to be better. You can't let them beat you down. You can't let fear cripple your mind. You got to make a commitment to the light. You've got to choose the light, like I did in this book, and then you got to stand with it, buddy, whether it rains or sun.
Right, and you know, there's people coming on these chats, and you know, where they're leaving comments, like this one guy, advanced micro devices, and he sent something out. He said, "Watch out for hit drugs," and I'd never heard of these DX drugs. They call it Drug X, or the short name is DX. And what it is it basically is a drug that they can put on any device. It can soak right through your fingertips, because I'm sure you're well aware of this stuff. But for some of the listeners, they may not have heard about it. And it's like an acid trip for a week. And it just causes you to go crazy. So I thought that was really interesting. But, you know, people are starting to give tips on shit. So that's great.
Yeah, I've received a whole bunch of tips. I've got things from doctors and nurses about things I didn't even know about when I was talking about the Gulf War syndrome and the squalene and the vaccines and all kinds of things. I just got off the phone, right before talking to you, with a pharmacist that, she graduated from University of Texas down there in Austin. And if any of you guys down there in Austin are listening, we're sending you guys love from the Colorado mountains up here. I love Texas. I went to grad school down there and undergrad school and stuff. And anyway, she graduated with honors in the pharmacy school. And so she's helping me talk about things like the long molecular chains of the fatty acids and the squalene and all this stuff I didn't even put in the book because I was too ignorant to know it, you know. And so all of us, every little piece of information, to bring this whole puzzle together, we've got to get it out. We've got to work together. It's just, this is a wonderful time to be alive. All you listeners out there, everybody, this is a big wave. This is an exciting time. It's one of the most exciting times to be alive, because look at what we're doing. We have an opportunity with guys like Scott and John B. Wells and Light on Conspiracies with Ole Damagard and Jeff Rentz and Hagman and Dave Hodges and all the truth networks out there. Alex Jones, everybody that's trying to get the truth out. John B. up there at Caravan to Midnight, even George Norrie over Coast to Coast, all these guys have been working ceaselessly and tirelessly to help illuminate the people. And we're all living in this exciting time. We have an opportunity that's unprecedented. We have to seize it. But their job is to shut us down, block our connections, cripple us with fear, you know, and shut us down that way. And we've got to go, no, we're going to seize this opportunity. We're going to take the horse by the reins, and we're going to ride that motherfucker straight into freedom and straight into light, and we're going to build our country back up, and we're going to take it away from this shadow government pricks.
I agree. And everything that all you listeners out there, y'all are all a part of this. You're part of the wave. You just got to pull your pants up and just do everything that you can to get the word out. Cody's just one person. I'm just one person. But look when two people come together, look how many lives have been affected by this. You have the same opportunity to do the same thing. So don't give up. Don't quit. Don't stop. Just keep hammering away at it, because difference. The only way you can eat an elephant is one bite at a time.
Yeah, there's Scott, I've got a lot of different people that we're in contact with all around the world, and they're truth warriors and they're keyboard warriors, and they say, Cody, we don't know all the stuff you know, but we're damn sure going to help get it out. And then they'll email me back and say, oh, they're blocking my Twitter feed, and my Facebook page being blocked, but they're finding ways to get around stuff, just like you said. So whatever they do in the darkness, we can counteract it and tell it in the light.
Well, that's all anybody can do at this point in time. And since everybody is so hungry for the truth, it will reach those who are looking for it. For those zombies out there that are closed-minded, I know this. I know the feeling. I talked to a person just the other day. When I hung up with that son of a bitch, I was like, motherfucker, man. I just want to never speak to them again, because they just want to stay stuck on stupid.
Well, that's, Scott, that's okay. Let them go to whatever level they want. Just don't let them waste your time. Because you got to spend your time where it counts the most. And if people's minds are closed, it's like that thing by Einstein or whoever said that, minds are like parachutes. They only function when open. If someone's closed-minded, just smile to them, send them love. I try not to attack them or demean them. I just say, well, I honor your free will choice. If you want to bury your head in the sand, I got a picture on my wall. You'd love this, Scott. I have to send it to you. And the guys out there love it. You might want to put it on your website when you see it. What it's got is there's 3 ostriches out in this big field. Okay? And the first ostrich has his head down in a hole. And the second ostrich is behind him, and he's got his head up the first one's ass. And then the third ostrich is standing there, and he's looking out at you with these question marks around his head. And there's a hole right under the other ostrich's ass, and he don't know where to stick he knows he's supposed to stick his head in a hole, but he don't know which one. and it's a classic picture, bro. I mean, the first one's got his head in the hole, the second one's got it up the other one's ass, the other one's standing there with the hole and the ass, and he's going, which one? Like, what am I supposed to do, man? And if people want to live like that, hey, send them love, let them go.
You know what my saying is if you got your head in the sand, that means you got your ass up in the air, and that'll get shot off first.
Boy, that's the truth. But listen, Scott, I hate that. I've got another interview on Europe coming up, and I got to get ready for it, because these guys are going to ask me all these weird questions, and I got to get my head together, for it. So. No,
I knew we was just going to have a little short combo again, but we just was kind of. This is for the people, because everybody is seriously digging this shit. So I know you got to go. So go ahead and tell everybody goodbye, and then I'll close her on out.
Okay. Want to say thank you to all you guys, anyone forwarding stuff and helping with the movement. We're all together. Nobody's better than each other. We have my email here is Cody Golden Elk @yahoo.com. If you have any questions, we've got another one. It's called questionsforcody @gmail.com. And then we have CD copies of the book, Choosing the Light, Dark Secrets of the Oklahoma City Bombing. And we've also had people sending in donations. And they get a copy of the book and then send donations on the side. So what we're doing, we have a lot of old veterans and different people who don't have much money. They're in the VA hospitals or whatever. We had a lot of people say, I was in the Air Force, I was in the Navy, I was this and that, but I'm sick and all, and they don't have much money. So we're sending them book copies for free. And so when we give out to our veterans, then all these rich people are turning around and saying, hey, we're going to send donations. So we use the donations to cover all the costs, shipping and handling and all the stuff that goes buying the CDs and all the stuff. and we're also getting another website up. So it's filled with PDF files and things. So we want to thank everybody because we're giving and we're getting and we're all sharing. The idea is that we all work together as Americans. We are Americans, and this is our country. And if we don't fight for it, we are going to lose it.
I agree, and I want to thank you for your time again. This is really good information. A lot of people, like I say, are really loving it. So
okay.
With that said, I'm going to go ahead and let you go so you can get ready for your next interview, and we will talk again soon, my friend.
All right, we love you, brother, and we love you guys out there. Thanks, everybody, for helping. Bye-bye.
Bye. Right. Well, y'all got it straight from the horse's mouth again. So, like I said, you're just going to have to do what you can to get the information out. And, hey, you're all part of this. So we're all doing everything that we can, and we want to encourage other people to come forward and let them come forward and let them know, hey, we know you did some dirty shit, but come forward and tell it and bring it out, because they need to get this stuff out. This is all part of uncovering the truth. It's going to be messy. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for a lot of people to accept. There's going to be some people that just won't accept it for a long time until it becomes mainstream. And then once it becomes mainstream, then people readily will accept it. I know I'm kind of hard on my friends because I want them to be up to speed because I care about them, and I get mad at them. When people make stupid comments on the channel, I get mad about that because I want everybody to put the petty shit aside. If we can do that, then we're going to make it through this. And it is not going to be easy. All right? So with that said, if y'all want any bumper stickers, I told you I got bumper stickers. I'm going to announce it at the beginning of the show before I start. And y'all can send me an email, $5 for a bumper sticker for SNAFU Radio. You can help me out. All I'm going to do is just use the money to buy some more equipment and have better connections with people. So, and if anybody out there has really credible information and you want to get it out, but you don't have a platform, you can email me and I can see about getting you on the air so you can get the information out too, because people want to hear it. With that, I hope y'all have a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Good night, God bless, and SNAFU out.
Okay, that was a show that was recorded this morning, and we always get to talk a little bit beforehand and kind of go over a couple of things that we want to really talk about. So as we're kind of progressing here, we're going to start getting into some more current event things that's going to draw from his expertise on what he knows about and see how it's going to apply and some of the things that's happening today. And so we're getting a lot of information, and he really kind of has cotton to me pretty well. And so we're going to go ahead and start doing this like every morning. And that way we can get information out. We're going to start talking on relative subjects, just talking about things that are really up to speed with today's times. I mean, because he goes back in time and he's so detailed on it, it really fills in a lot of the gaps that we were all missing. We've all been lied to. Like I say, everything that we know to be true is a lie. So that's why when somebody comes out and starts speaking the truth, now I know about John McCain, and I really don't agree with, I don't like him. I know he was a hot dog and, did that flash start with the motor and killed all those people and all that other shit. And yeah, he's Songbird McCain and blah, blah, blah. I know all that. He started ISIS too, but so did Hillary Clinton. So did Obama. So did the Bushes. That's been going on for a long time. So I want you to know there's a whole lot of people in this government that are dirtier than shit. And I want you to know McCain's not the only dirty frickin' rotten apple in the barrel. So let's just move past all that stuff and I monitor the chat. I watch what y'all people are saying, and I see what y'all are talking about. Some of it just is really, it's not pertinent to what we're actually talking about. I mean, the Jews, genocide. I mean, okay, I don't know anything much about that. I've heard both ways. Yeah, they were all gas. No, there was no gas chambers. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard both sides of the argument. Okay. So what to say about some of it? It's going to be hard to get some of the truth out because it's been covered up so bad. All I know is let's start forward from today and start working together, because all you people listening can contribute in some form or fashion. Okay? We ain't all going to agree. Shit, I don't want everybody to agree with me. If y'all were to agree with me 100% on everything, I think you're crazy, because I believe some things that you probably ain't. I got a buddy of mine. We argue back and forth about flat earth. He can't believe it, and I do. But he doesn't believe in God either, and I do. So, there's where part of the problem is. He don't believe in God. I do believe in God. So not everybody's going to, agree with you 100%. But we're still friends, even though we don't agree 100%. We can put that shit aside and we can still work together. Now, if it got down and dirty, we got each other's back. Okay? But if we're just sitting around just popping off and making fun of each other, then we're going to give each other a little bit of shit. That's just what we do. That's okay. So don't worry about it. Everybody just take a big old fat chill pill and relax while you can. Because when the shit hits the fan, I'll tell you this one little story. I was downtown today and I was on the train, got down, took care of some business, got back, fixing the train. God, I can't even talk. And there were a couple of guys from Homeland Security sitting there. They had all their gear on and all this horse shit. And I went to walking up to them because I didn't recognize that uniform. Up to get a closer look, and sure enough, it said Homeland Security. So I just went ahead and went right over there and started talking to them. I said, y'all are Homeland Security. What the hell are y'all doing down here? This is downtown Dallas now. Now he said, oh, we're just helping out doing a little security and, just kind of, making sure nothing's going on and blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, okay. And so anyhow, I started talking to him. And I said, there's some pretty crazy shit going on in the world these days. 'Cause that's what kind of brought it up. There's a lot of crazy shit going on, especially downtown, yada, yada. I said, yeah, there's crazy shit going on around here. And they's like, yeah, I know. I said, man, have you heard of a guy named CodySnodgres? And they's like, no, hadn't heard of nothing like that. And so I said, well, and I started telling them a little bit about him. And they were both, all of a sudden now I got their attention, ex-CIA, offered $1 million to blow up the Federal Murr building downtown Oklahoma, blah, 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 went to prison, yada, yada, yada. And they were like, wow, never heard any of that. And I said, yeah, he'll be like the next Edward Snowden. And they're like, oh, wow. And I was like, yeah, I've been doing some interviews with him, but now he's on some bigger stations. And so he'll be getting around. Y'all hear about him. They're like, yeah, we might just Google him. And I said, yeah, it'd be a good idea. And so then I asked them about, had they heard about all the indictments that were in the federal indictments? So they're like, nope, we ain't heard nothing about that. And so I told them all about that, how it all got started, and now uh, how there's 4,289 indictments as of last count. And they're like, yeah, really? And I said, yeah. I said, did y'all hear about the Marines storming the CIA at Langley? And they're like, no, we ain't heard nothing about that. I gave them the story on that. And then I told them, I said, well, the day before, on November 17th, Attorney General Jeff Sessions came out and kind of gave a shot across the bow to all the federal judges that are operating out of scope with the Constitution. They're like, really? I said, yeah. And then I said the next day is when the CIA was stormed by the Marines, and also they stormed the FBI building. I said they stormed the CIA, shut down Operation Mockingbird. Have you heard of that? They're like, no. I'm thinking, damn, man, these guys don't know jack shit, man. So I told him, I said, well, you need to Google Operation Mockingbird. And I said, they went and stormed the federal building, the Fed building, to grab the Uranium One files. Well, now they knew about that. And so they were really tripping out and paying a lot of attention now. And so I got past those two things, and I figured, these guys probably think I'm nuttier than a fruitcake, and because I'm dropping truth bombs on their ass that they have never heard. And I said, yeah. I said, you probably haven't heard any of this stuff. I said, but it's all over the internet. It's just burning it up right now. And yeah, Brandy, I did grab their attention. One of them was ex-military, and he was kind of paying attention. The other guy, he was really paying attention too, and because they never heard any of this stuff. So I'm sitting there just dropping all these truth bombs on them, seeing if I could get their gears to turn. Well, sure enough, they were. Well, next thing you know, here comes my train, and a guy said, because I told him I was catching the Rowlett train. He goes, is that your train coming? And I said, yep, sure is. I said, well, now you know some of the inside story. It's all over the internet. So, yeah, I was shocked the ex-military guy didn't know either, Brandy. But you know what? A lot of people just don't pay attention like we are. So that's why I wanted to go over there and rattle their cage. Because I guarantee you, I put a bug in their ear. Planted that seed. Okay? And that's what I'm telling you this story for. It's so y'all will start planting the seed too. I know everybody says, oh man, I've tried waking people up and I just can't do it, and yada, yada, yada. Hey, guess what? I got the same thing with some of the dipshits I know around here. So what do? I plant the seed and I go on. Well, I told them, yep, that's my train. I got to go. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. And I just hauled ass. Well, guess what? They're going to be thinking about that stuff. And if they start looking into it, because I told them about Cody going to be on Dave Hodges, John B. Wells, and all these bigger guys, seeing if they recognized any of those names. Well, they did. I said, you'll hear about it then. You just keep your ear to the ground and you'll hear about it. So that's what I'm saying. You got to plant the seed and just kind of move along. Let them start thinking about it. It's just like, you walking in the aisle of the grocery store, and now on the National Enquirer, the headlines are reading, JFK was assassinated, but it wasn't by, oh damn, I can't believe I forgot, Oswald. So what they're doing is they're planting a seed up there that's saying Oswald didn't kill JFK. It was done, and I think the article actually says it was done by the CIA. I'm not sure. I heard this because I wasn't in the store, but I'm going to go to the store tomorrow and I'll see if I can find it. But when the person told me that, I said, well, there's you some proof right there. What they're doing is they're bringing this dirt out and putting it on a National Enquirer. Well, everybody thinks, oh, National Enquirer, that's just some old rag, gossip, conspiracy theory, fake news shit, right? Well, we all know it's not, but what it's doing is it's planting the seed in all the sheeple's brains so that they can start accepting the truth down the road. Because a lot of people are just so gullible, they believe whatever they're told. Well, now as it starts to coming out and everybody starts planting these seeds, it's like, no, it's not what you thought it was. It's completely different. So I just wanted to get that out to y'all, kind of tell you a personal story today and how I was shaking up guys from the Department of Homeland Security, planting some seeds in their brain. Now, y'all have the same thing you can go out and do every day. You ain't going to wake them all up. Even though I like to give everybody I like to slap them with a healthy dose of reality. You can only stand there and slap them in the face so long with it, and then you just got to go on about your own damn business. So I'll stand there, pop them a few times, kind of slap them around a little bit, and then I'll just take off. So anyhow, that's all I got for y'all tonight. I'm glad you tuned in. Thanks everybody for being here. Good night. God bless. And SNAFU out.